Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles. Welcome to my channel. Now, as promised, today we're going to be talking waistbands. Now, I think a large majority of patterns and styles of either pants or skirts have just a straight rectangle waistband, and that can be okay if you're starting to sew and you think that is easier. You know, they do hold up the skirt or the pants. You know, it's very, very popular. And I use rectangle waistbands, you know. I'm going to show you a few that I've made recently. So rectangle waistband on my denim skirt that I made at the beginning of the year. It's okay, you know, I placed the waistband, of course, in the same direction so that the stretch is horizontal, you know. Last year I made a skirt out of wax print. It's a 4-wrap skirt. I mean, it's all fully wrapped, you know, but it's all enclosed inside the waistband, and it's a rectangle with a zipper on the back. Last year I made this skirt out of this really nice thick stretch cotton twill, and it's a straight rectangle waistband, and this one opens up at the front with a zipper fly opening there on the front. And just recently I made my houndstooth skirt with a straight rectangle waistband, and this one opens up on the side, so there's a hip zipper. So don't think I really hate rectangle waistbands. I do use them, and I'm super moody about like why I make them, and it's usually got to do with saving fabric. So a rectangle waistband is just across, you know, your fabric. It doesn't take up more fabric. You know, a curved waistband usually involves more pieces. The curve takes up more fabric, and yeah, I should be more mindful to buy at least 10 more centimeters, but sometimes, you know, I buy the minimal and I just do a rectangle waistband. But these waistbands have problems. I mean, they tend to like have a gap here. You know, we're not square at the top here. We follow a curve, you know, our body. So they usually like stand up stiff, and they have like extra space here on the top. I mean, some people even sew a dart, like they make this skirt and then they make a dart inside, and it just turns out super bulky. So the curved waistband is way better. So this type of waistband that I'm gonna show you has a lot of names. You can find it as a shaped waistband, a curved waistband, a contoured waistband, anatomic waistband, you know, they're all the same thing. When you make a waistband like this, it eliminates all those gaps around your waist at the top and eliminates that stiffness and waistband like sticking out from your body, and it just helps it sit better without riding up or anything like that. So you can look online, and as everything in sewing and in life, there's always different ways to do it. Some seem more complicated, others are simple, but the way they're explained seem complicated. You can find loads of ways. So my aim in this channel is always to make everything really accessible and really simple to do, not hard, and the way that I'm going to show you works. It works for me. You create a beautiful curved waistband that when you walk it next to your main skirt or pants, is gonna fit exactly and have a really comfortable fit. So I'm gonna show you. Just recently I've made a red mermaid skirt, and I did a curved waistband here. Now you can see it's not so wide, maybe it's 5 centimeters wide, and because this is made out of a stretch bengaline, you know, and I wanted it to have more firmness at the top, I inserted a tiny elastic in there, and that's why it's a bit gathered, but it's not gathered, you know, it's just for stability. So on a woven, you wouldn't need to do that, you would just interface, you know. At the beginning of the year, I made the Iris shorts by Colette, and they do come with a curved waistband as you know, like the way it was designed, and I think it's brilliant. You can see the curve there on the front and the back. Maybe you can see with the top stitching, but you know, it follows the shape. It's super comfortable. These shorts, although they're big on me, I still wear them. They're so comfortable. Like I can't even feel the waistband is there. And with the rectangular waistbands, I know they're there, like they annoy me. And in my July Makes Roundup sort of video, I gave you a teaser of a skirt I made based off the Marfy pattern with the curved waistband. And you can see it curving there. You can see it's curved. Now in this one, I also placed an elastic on the top because this is a knit, just to make it more stable, you know. So very good. I really like how comfortable it is and how well it fits. Okay, so now I'm going to insert the video that shows you the first option. So I'm going to be creating like a more thinner waistband, about 4 centimeters. You can make it 5, you know, you can do what you want, but what I'm showing you is just a normal thinner waistband that could go on top of your skirt or your pants. So that's coming in now. This skirt is designed to have a facing inside at the back, so it doesn't come with a waistband pattern piece of any type, not straight, not curved. And you might find a skirt pattern that is like that around, that just has a facing. But what if you don't want to make your skirt with a facing? What if you want to do a waistband on the top? And the easy way would be to just do a straight rectangular waistband, right? But the most comfortable ones are the curved ones, or anatomic, that sort of follow the curve around you. So I'm going to show you how you can create that for this skirt or any skirt, just using the same way. I'm going to work with the back. Now remember, the Marfy patterns don't have seam allowances, similar to how a skirt block would be. If you had like your own skirt block, it wouldn't have seam allowances. So these patterns don't come with seam allowances. It's really important to remember that. So I've placed my pattern piece on my cutting board, and I've placed a paper underneath matching the sides of the middle, like the middle part there. So I'm going to trace this curve around the waist that skirts have. I'm just going to continue that shape there. Now let's say I want my skirt to be 4 centimeters in width. So from that waist point there, I'm going to measure 4 centimeters. So I've united the dots. Now there's a dart here. What I want to do is continue that dart upwards. So using the same line that the dart has, I'm just going to prolong that dart up. Same, placing my ruler on the edge of the dart and just following the shape there. And then the curve of the hip there, I'm just going to try to continue that curve there. So I'm gonna mark that this is the center, back. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna remove these darts, so I'm gonna cut them off. And stick these two together. I'm just going to round that little place out there. So here is the waistband for this back piece. You can see the curve there. Now I just wrote center because it depends on what type of skirt you're making, whether you want to leave seam allowance here because you're putting a zipper in the middle back. If you're doing a zipper on the hip, then you would cut this on the fold. So that's why I just wrote center there, because it's usually you can mess around with the back whether you want a zipper there or not. So when you close this dart, as you will when you're sewing, it'll be like that. This waistband is going to measure the same, and it follows your shape. So this is going to be high-waisted sort of thing, you know. So that is how I would create the one for the back. Now the process is exactly the same for the front, exactly the same. the little waistband for the front. The same if you close up this dart there as you would when you sew, and you place this there, it's going to match exactly the circumference, and it's going to be curved to your body. So the front is usually on the fold, but you know, if you were doing this on pants, you can do the exact same thing, and you can add seam allowance there if you were doing a zipper on the middle or whatever. The base of creating the curved waistband you can modify depending on what you're doing, but this is the basic. I'm putting my front waistband on folded paper so I can get a full piece. Sometimes it's easier to cut this way because you need two pieces, you know, one for the inner waistband, one for the outer. So having already the full pattern piece is easier. So front. So there you have like a full pattern piece that you can just place on your fabric as normal and get two pattern pieces. Now what happens if you want a really wide yoga style curved waistband, like similar to the ones you find on like leggings or those lounging pants, you know, knits, or maybe you can even do this on a stretch denim. Lots of jean styles have that thick curved waistband on the top, and I find that super flattering and super comfortable as well. Now I have a skirt here that I made out of like a twill that I placed on the bias. So it's just a normal skirt that's placed on the bias. The fabric doesn't have any stretch, but because it's on the bias, it does, you know, what fabric does when it's on the bias. Now I placed just a thick rectangle jersey, very good quality, good recovery waistband on top, and it's just a rectangle. So this is super easy to make, you know. But I find that these they're not the best, they're not that comfortable. So you can make that thick waistband feel super comfortable if you have it curved. And now the technique is exactly the same with a little twist, and that's coming in now. Okay, so this is another option. What if you don't want a thin waistband? You know, like a high-waisted, thinnish, curved waistband. What if you wanted those thickish, like yoga style, really comfy waistbands that are more thick, but you also wanted it curved, similar to what leggings have? So you can also do that using your pattern. Now I know I want it 4 centimeters above the waistline, so I've gone ahead and marked it there the same exact way as I did before. But now from here I'm measuring 4 centimeters down there. So 4 centimeters, put a few dots there. I'm going to remove from my pattern. Actually, I could go ahead and I've already measured the 4 centimeters. So I've already measured from the waistline down 4 centimeters, and I'm gonna do some dots. I've already done that. Now I'm gonna mark with my tracing wheel. I continue that curve there, same like I did before. I continued up that dart exactly the same, and I marked the piece of dart that's going down the skirt. So when I remove this paper, you're going to see that I've already marked my new line down there. So let's pretend this was my original waistline there. Now I have a thicker waistband that goes 4 centimeters above that and 4 centimeters under that. And now I do the exact same thing. Now you have your brand new curved waistband, but that is thicker. So what do I do with the skirt? When I'm cutting out my skirt, that mark that I made there, the 4 centimeters that is going to be lower, I can either cut that off or just fold it down. So this is going to be my new waistline that's a bit lower, that will go attached to that. And you see the dot is smaller here, and if I close it, like when I'm going to sew, it's going to match the waistband. See? So you can do whatever you want. When you know, this is a Marfy pattern, no seam allowances there. So when you're cutting on fabric, you're going to need to leave a centimeter seam allowance there. And around your waistband, you're going to need a centimeter down there, around, and on the top. Yeah? So that's how you do the front and the back as well. Exactly the same for the back. One thing I wanted to point out is some people's patterns have 2 dots on the back, you know, like here. So when you look at the skirt fully open on the back, you have 4 dots. The same applies to pants sometimes. You can totally do the exact same thing. All you're doing is adding on a dot, cutting out a dot, removing a dot. You just do the same thing, only with extra dots. So don't think that because your pattern piece has extra dots, you can't apply the same process. It's just the same. You're just removing more dots when you cut them out. Same thing. So you can achieve that thicker curved waistband just by modifying the length on the top of your skirt or your pants. So you just remove some of the length and replace that with the waistband, you know? Very easy to do, and it just gives you more freedom to modify patterns that you already have, styles that you might want to switch up a bit, and yeah, I just want you to have the tools. So I hope this video was useful for you. If there's any doubts, please let me know in the comments. I want to remind you again that my pattern pieces that I always draft here, they never have seam allowances. I've seen loads of tutorials that they show you, let's draft a facing, and then they put it on another paper and add seam allowance. And that's cool, but it would really throw me off if I had pattern pieces with seam allowance, because the pattern pieces I create don't have it. So if you want to go the extra step to match the style of your sewing, you can take that pattern piece that you created and add the seam allowance that you like. Easy step to do at the end. I just don't do it. Anyway, that is all. So that is all for now. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Whenever you hit the like button, it means that the content that I provided was relevant for you. And YouTube sees that when you press the like button. So have a go. Click it, it's not hard. And consider subscribing if you find the content useful for your sewing. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when I upload and you never miss a sewing tip. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye. Key points about the curved, shaped, anatomic or contoured waistband are the following. So knowing how to do this will come really handy when, number 1, you want this type of waistband for comfort and your original pattern does not provide that, meaning it will either have a facing or a rectangular waistband. And number 2, your pattern has a curved waistband, but you've had to alter your original pattern to fit you. You've had to add darts at the back or remove darts at the front or vice versa. You've had to change the width of your darts, or you've had to change your seam allowances, meaning that your pattern pieces do not have the same shape as the original and your waistband is probably not going to fit. So knowing how to draft it from your new pattern piece is going to be very handy.